So this vehicle here in a more ideal scenario, there's that too. In a more ideal scenario, you're going to be more tucked towards this car. You're still exposed to these compounds over here, but at least not exposed to 3 separate compounds. You're at least only exposing yourself to 2, but maybe even a safer route would be going further back here with the car, because then you're a little more cut off from this compound over here as well. Great, so let's review what we have so far. So we have... Mother. Okay, we have a rotation pretty much straight from here. So from the edge of the circle, which we had, pretty much straight through to the center, knowing that this pathway here, this little area here is almost always going to be safe. This is not highly contested territory. This was probably the riskiest part of the drive, because this is a meeting point with many different roads, shelters over here, this warehouse is over here. Take a couple shots, nothing too risky. We did flip over here a bit, but it was at a safe distance from this compound, and it was not within good view of this compound. So this was a fairly safe route. Almost ran into a couple rocks, but again, we stopped at I think a less than ideal point right where the car was. So back to Mayo. Let's see how they take it. Okay, they make sure there's no one peeking them directly. He almost gets hit by the car. No one's peeking. They drive the vehicle in. Oh, he saw someone. Interesting. I wonder what the call out is here. All right, let's go back a little bit. I want to make sure he saw him. Hold on, let's go back even more. Yep, definitely saw him right there. So, let's try to find the moment that it gets risky. Boom. So right here. This vehicle has been here. Now this is something that they did not notice in their search, and they would have known that this is not a spawn car. Ugh. Vehicle at farm, visible, not spotted, missed enemy, could have been knocked. Little notes like this, just little observations. So, this is dangerous because right now... Whoa. Oh, this guy isn't even looking. Okay. Right now, Schofield over here, he just heard Blacklight go to the right over here. So he's aiming right here. This is a super risky spot. This guy has an M24 in his back also. Mayo is exposed right here. Now, he was running up fairly blind towards a car that could have been spotted before they went in. So this may have been a little preemptive, this push from Mayo and Blacklit here. So fortunately, Mayo does see him and manages to get safe. But if this was a really high-quality player over here who was ready and his vision was somewhere in this direction, Mayo would have been knocked here. I don't even know if I agree with his positioning, Schofield, right here. He could have positioned better. His car could be positioned better, too. He can't escape right now. So a few things he's done wrong. But Mayo here could have definitely been knocked in a very, very dangerous scenario. Then it'd be a one-on-one between these two players. And you never want to have a 1v1, especially when you have 2 players in the area. So we'll go back to Mayo. See what's going on. He sees him. He's going to stay fairly safe here. Okay, now he's just running. Now, we saw one player. Let's see, who is this? Okay. Let's head back a little. So we have this vehicle parked right here. This is not by any means the most ideal spot for this vehicle. Look how clear that is to these players in this compound. They didn't even look in this direction. So if we want to save our vehicle, and as we mentioned before, this is an extremely popular compound to hold in a circle like this. This is always going to be held. And then to leave your car exposed, especially a tire, right there. Very risky, not the place I would have put the vehicle. Also, Mayo called that there was a person here a while ago. So Blacklit right now is taking a pretty wide rotation. And not being all that careful, knowing that there's a person here, you can't assume there's only one person when you see one person. You have to assume more just for safety here. So Blacklit gets shot at. Potentially could have been a knock if there was more than one person shooting, or if they hit a couple more shots here. So there's super risky split right here. We have Arrow coming in now. I assume Saban's going to come in a bit later. But now, because our rotations are so far apart, let's see, we're almost at 8 minutes here. So we arrived quite a bit ago. We're at 7:51 now. Let's see. All right, he's a minute behind. But considering that this was a late rotation to begin with, you can assume that people are going to be in some different spots here. This team's getting scary. This team is now where they were not before. So this rotation that we had before, this rotation of this, is not nearly as safe as it was a minute ago. You have to remember that. All right, so we were on, let's see what Blacklit's doing here. He almost gets knocked. Again, stops the car, exposed to the other compound. Here's a vehicle. Gets shot at a bit. All right, let's head back. So this vehicle... Alright. So he tries to drive away here. Let's watch from Mayo's view. Now, I think that's a bad move on Schofield's part. A really, really awful move. He knew Mayo was here. Now, this should be a guaranteed knock. At that range, there's really no excuse to miss that. So let's see. That was around 8 minutes, 7:55. 7:55, 0 hit, AK. Close. This is a close mid-range. Close mid-range spray. So this is something that you would see. You're going to write down. Again, this could be a one-time thing. There's usually kind of no excuse for this sort of missing here. But if you notice this is sort of a pattern, you want to throw in some exercises for your team to do for some AK spray control, because that shouldn't happen. So let's see what the follow-up is. We know this guy left. So at this point now, you know that this compound... You can probably safely assume this compound's going to be free. You're not going to run away from this compound solo if your team's in here with you. So I think they're going to feel safe to move into this compound now. Blacklit especially, because he was getting shot from over there. The other option is to wait for the teammates to come in. Saban's coming in now. And hold this 2 over here. 2 over here. Let's see how they follow this up after that miss. That's a little better to miss, but you still obviously want to aim for as many hits as possible. So we have Arrow coming in. There's Saban coming in. So Blackman's going to try to take some pot shots here. Protecting his teammate as he drives in. Seeing what he can find. Nice hit. Was that... You see that? Let's go back and watch that. That was a nice shot. Generally, I don't love watching things that are good, more than once. But let's see how safe he's being here. So let's watch this from first Blacklist point of view, and then we're going to watch it from the guy who got Nox point of view. You always want to watch things in different points of view just to see how things look from different perspectives here. So, we've got 8 times. Looking around. Now, he's not leaning, which is curious. He sees him there. Quick shot. Quick shot. Didn't miss. Let's see. We're going to go to this guy now. See what this is looking like. Ah, he was not looking. He was looking in a separate direction here. So this was a very bad play from him then. From Nitowitz here. He was exposing himself to this window while looking in this direction. This is some pretty poor play. You want to avoid your open angles here, especially because you knew someone was there because you were shooting at them, and he was just shooting at you a whole bunch. Very bad play. Very good job by Blacklit taking advantage of this this sort of behavior here. So let's see where Arrow and Sabin go. All right, already we see that this is a much better spot for this vehicle. Now, this was a bit of an emergency park by Blacklit, so understandable a little bit that it was there. Sabin did have the time because of Blacklit's cover to bring the car into here. The tires are not going to get popped. You're only exposed to this from very far away, but I mean, you need to park the car somewhere. So cool, good job there. You can't easily back out. So in a more ideal situation, you're going to line up the vehicle better to get out quicker. So maybe back up into here. Then you can easily escape. Not 100% necessary, but definitely helps. So let's see what the follow-up is. Actually, that's something to write down. Like I said, even if it's small. Sabin, upon arrival, did not park car as efficiently as possible for quick escape. Carry on. Okay, dropping off supplies. No big deal. Sabin's looking out now. Okay, so one thing that we talked about as a team was how we're covering ourselves. So one issue that we had is as soon as we saw someone, all 4 would be facing the exact same direction, and we would not look around us. And the reasoning behind it was in order to come from us in certain directions, they would have to be coming quickly in a vehicle and we would hear it or something. This is somewhat valid, but versus good teams, very, very good teams, they're going to do very surprising things. And covering yourself at all angles is a necessity, which we've gotten much better at, and they've told me they put a large focus on. So let's see where everyone's facing during a time like this when we should be looking at all angles here. So I'm going to reverse a couple times here. So right now, we are not looking everywhere. We turned around quick. So you see everyone kind of facing this direction. There you go. Sabin here is facing a different direction. Blacklist's not looking anywhere. Looking here. Okay. So that was not perfect coverage. Let's back up again. So Arrow's looking this direction. Now I think what concerns me about Arrow looking is that he's making the same mistake that Nitowitz made before. He's exposed here to this guy who could be out here.